welcome to the Kentucky Train Update Course Provider segment. My name is David, and I'm with the Education and Workforce Development Branch, and joining me today is Becky.
Thank you for having me.
Becky, today we're on the last day of summer, and we're continuing our conversation of this course edit wizard, and we're now to the approval section of that wizard. And this is the part where the course provider needs to start making some decisions about how they're going to handle some registrations.
Yep. This is really where, from time to time we receive calls from course providers who really need to restrict access to their course. This is the option that's going to allow them to do that. So they can select yes and really tailor those restrictions. They can say, yes, this person is okay to register, or no, they're not. This is also where you're going to find that default to no as well.
So keep in mind, if you do want to restrict that registration and you select yes as your choice here, that does put a little bit more burden on the course provider, because you're going to have to check in daily, maybe multiple times into your course provider account, looking under the dashboard for approvals pending. And of course, this is the time we're in these days with mobile devices and tablets. We're starting to see an uptick of the use of the iPhones and the Androids and the tablets themselves too. So people are registering during off hours.
Yep.
And so just keep in mind, people are looking for that response, and occasionally we get a phone call related to this. So you're going to have to be on your game. You're going to have to check in at least twice a day in your course provider account and make those approvals or not. The second piece to this is the provide a code to register. We've seen that used occasionally and with some of our courses.
Yep. And I think that's a really great point in light of what you just said, because some of our course providers may not have the time or want that sort of strict control over their access. So the third option that you'll have is that the user has to provide a code to register. And that's really where you can tailor that. You could provide them with a 5-digit code, so you're still restricting some access, but you're not having all of those additional demands upon your time.
That 5-digit code is kind of a key concept there, because we have seen course providers provide quite long, lengthy codes that they decide about halfway through registration, maybe that wasn't a real good idea. So keeping this simple, keep in mind if you do come up with a code that you're finding halfway through registration isn't quite working out, there is an option. You could change that.
You can always go back and change it if you realize later that maybe it is too complex, but that really causes more confusion for the learner. So we really encourage you to keep it simple from the beginning. Make it something that from the start is going to be easy for anyone to access or remember, and it's really going to make your life as a course provider much easier in the end.
The next section of the course edit wizard is dealing with custom user information. And again, this defaults to no. You can select yes here if you want to collect custom information. This is during the registration period when the learner is registering for your course. When you select yes and you click next, it's going to present you with a text box. How have we seen this used, Becky, in the past?
From time to time, we have course providers who are planning, let's say, a full day session, and they're going to be offering a meal, and they need to collect information on what those dietary restrictions may be, or maybe it's as simple as a meal option. So is it a beef or a chicken or a vegetarian option? This is a great place to put that question, because you gather that information upon registration for your planning purposes.
There's also a checkbox below the text box where you're making this a required field on registration. And one of the questions that came up early on is, as course providers were using this feature, we were getting some frantic calls. David, where in the world do you find this information we collected? And that can be found under the course roster.
Yep. And on those course rosters, when you access that information, you'll notice that there are a series of tabs across the top. This will be added as that final tab on the top. Today
we are continuing our conversation through this course edit wizard, and the next time we're together, we'll continue working through this wizard. In the meantime, you can contact us and you can stay in touch with us through several ways. One is to go to the Kentucky Train website, and under the announcement section, there's a number of links available to you. Also, email us. Some of you are, and we appreciate the emails and the feedback coming to us. We're paying attention. You can email us at kentuckytrainsupport@ky.gov. Also, you can reach out through social media.
Yep. You can contact us anytime. You can find us online at Facebook by searching Kentucky Train. You can find us on Twitter at KYTrain, or you can always read our blog at kentuckytrain.blogpost.com.
Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.